Welcome to my channel. My name is Spade Parkland. Welcome to Parkland Media. This video contains my fan theory for the show From on MGM+. This video contains spoilers. This video was not made from anything from MGM+ exclusive content. If the theory holds true, I just got it right. Subscribe, click the notification bell, thumb up the video, share your social media. If you want to support me and support the channel, you can join the channel membership, and or you can also support with the super thanks that is near the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the comment section. Just a shot of where the motel used to be. You know, I've mentioned as far as stuff that's in like a higher plane of dimension and existence. I believe that's how it is with the ruins. For special means, whether it's Julie with the cicadas, boy going through the faraway tree, you can get in, you can go into the ruins and actually go to the actual lair, which is on a higher state of existence. As far as a higher dimensional plane, I believe the motel is the same way. And I believe other things in Fromville are the same way, where it's there, but you have to do something special in order to go there. So I believe the motel is there. It's just that, just like with the ruins, maybe someone like Julie will walk into where it used to be, and she can actually go into the actual motel. Maybe Marielle or even Randall, maybe they'll be able to do that. But I believe a lot of stuff that's in Fromville is there. They just can't see it because you just have to be at be able to go to a higher dimensional plane in order to go to the motel and other places. It doesn't make sense for there to be a post office, a church, colony house, a diner, a lot of like small town stuff, but nothing for tourism. The original townspeople, when they went into the cave and started doing their clandestine cult stuff, they found a way to get rid of the ruins, get rid of the hotel, get rid of stuff associated with tourism. Nobody would really want to go to the town because there's nothing there as far as tourism. If you're traveling through there, there's no gas station, no convenience store. There's nothing that anybody would be able to get outside of, you know, a diner that would make people want to stop there. And I think the creatures or the original townspeople got rid of stuff that would be a part of tourism to prevent people from going into the town who were outsiders, that would possibly stop them from kidnapping other people's children, kidnapping pregnant women, or taking their own children and stopping them from doing their ritual and stuff that they were planning on doing while they kept the children trafficked in the cave to prepare to sacrifice them. There is no tourism. Even with a small country town, there usually is some type of like tourism that's there that would kind of make people want to travel there. Now, there are small country towns and like here in America where they have really next to nothing. There usually will be at least a museum, fancy graveyard. You do have mountains out there, so those mountains would be kind of associated with tourism. And for people to possibly go and want to go to the mountains and go hiking, just like when you go to the national parks where there's nothing out there, but people go out there to hike and climb mountains and stuff, there will be a tourism that's established that will get the business of people coming from outside. Even Area 51, they got all those UFO stuff and alien stuff. It's just surprising that there's no tourism. And I think all the tourist stuff, including the ruins, were somehow put to another dimensional plane to prevent people from wanting to stop, because outsiders would be the ones that would stop them from doing what they wanted to do. Let's say if the man in yellow, he's responsible for all of this. I think the man in yellow has been around a long time and either went from place to place promising stuff in exchange for offer me your children, I'll give you immortality. And if you haven't seen Netflix as far as the show Midnight Mass, what I'm thinking that it's based off of as far as the show, and spoiler alert for Midnight Mass, I believe the backstory of From is similar to Netflix's miniseries Midnight Mass. The man in yellow is Father Paul Hill, and the angel combines with the creatures being a combination of angels and vampires. Now, you don't have to watch the miniseries to understand where I'm coming from with this. this, but I'll just kind of give a couple of details for the miniseries in case you do want to see it, but just to kind of lay out exactly what I'm thinking, because when you see the portrait of the man in yellow, he has on a blazer, and he looks like someone who was like a poor person's preacher or a traveling preacher that was going from place to place to place and preaching the good word. And a place like From, which has a mine there, used to be a mine, because you see Boyd was down there in the mine shaft. That's what the MGM Plus is officially calling what Boyd was in season 2, episode 1. He was in the bottom of a mine shaft in the lair. So the lair was originally a mine shaft, and it was used for mining. And I believe the mine was decommissioned because there was no resources from the mine, and when it became decommissioned, it just became a regular cave. And so with the mining town being an economic ruin, and all of this stuff seems like it's from the 1930s, that was around the time of the Great Depression. People were desperate, people were turning to religion, and prayers weren't getting answered, and people were passing away from starvation. So if you have a small town like this, where you got a guy who comes in a blazer saying that he's religious, he's a preacher, he makes promises and even does different miracles, people are going to be like, you know what? Maybe he is from God, maybe he is God. And so it's a spoiler for the miniseries. The arrival of a charismatic priest brings miracles, mysteries, and renewed religious fervor to a dying town. And I think that's what From was. It's a dying town, no tourism, stuff that was associated with travelers, such as a motel, a gas station, the ruins out there that people would go to visit. All that stuff was put into a higher dimensional plane to hide it, so that if people did wander there before the trap was created, as far as the dome that's over Fromville, they would not stay, because the townspeople who were in a cult, in my opinion, were only interested in either pregnant women, children, or their own children, as far as trying to sacrifice them for the ritual for them to get some type of benefit, including immortality. With Fromville being a dying mining town where the mine was decommissioned and economic decline had townspeople turn to religion for help. Then the man in yellow, who has on a blazer and portrait, arrives and performs miracles and makes deals. So the boy in white could be another angel, and his real image is hideous, because in the book of Enoch, when Enoch, and this is the Bible, in the book of Enoch, when Enoch describes angels and demons, they look similar and they look horrific. Anytime in the Bible where an angel would go and talk to a person, the first thing the angel would say is, "Fear not." Because based off of the way Enoch described angels is equivalent to how we would view the image of demons in 2024. So basically, like the movie Hellraiser, those are angels, because there's no difference between angels and demons. One is like an angel of the Lord. The other ones are fallen angels that have become demonic, but it's like what makes them demonic is not necessarily their appearance, but their intention. So if they're doing good things, they're angels. If they're doing bad things, they're demons. Just like with Lost, there's another Man in Black and Jacob situation, with Jade being like Benjamin Linus. From basically could be Lost 2.0. And I'm still believing that. I know the creators are like, no, it's not like Lost and everything, but they've taken elements from everything as far as horror and science fiction. And I believe they also took elements from Lost as well. So the Man in Black could be the Man in Yellow, and Jacob could be like the Boy in White. That duality where you got one side trying to help, one side trying to hurt. Then you got Jade being Benjamin Linus, that Jade started off being a drunk, obnoxious. He was kind of rude to a lot of people. And then he's slowly starting to become somewhat of an anti-hero, helping, even though he still is a little bit obnoxious. Where's the library? The cult would definitely explain the lack of Bibles and other religious texts. And I think that's the reason why Father Katri was just curious why there was no Bible, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to say I've traveled the whole world, but I've been in almost all 50 states in America. And I've been across seas, the Eastern Hemisphere when I was in the Army and was deployed and visiting in Europe and stuff. Every town has some type of religion associated with it, even if it is Satanism or even if it is Luciferian. Everywhere has some type of belief system. And with there being a belief system, there's like a Bible or some type of book that is like either a collection of stories of old prophets, letters to churches, or just prophecies. There's always going to be something. And for this town to have nothing, I believe that the reason for that is because when the man in yellow came and started making promises, and if it's just like the miniseries Midnight Mass, they are openly and willingly taking the blood from a vampire looking thing, which is actually an angel. And at that point, they're no longer going to be worshiping God or worshiping or following the Bible. They're going to be following the person in front of them that's making all these promises, giving all these miracles, which to me would be the reason why they get rid of the Bible, because it's like, well, we no longer need the Bible because we have you, man in yellow. We have you. And I wouldn't be surprised if the boy in white in his true form originally may have been the one to cause and create Fromville to begin with. He originally had good intentions and things got carried away. And maybe the man in yellow was like another angel or something, or maybe the man in yellow is just like a regular man who's been behind the scenes playing puppet master. Maybe he's a creature as well. Whatever's on the radio talking to Jim, which I believe is Christopher, but then again, it could have been maybe Christopher, the actor playing Christopher, as far as his voice. Maybe it's the man in yellow that we'll find out episode 10, who knows. But I think that whoever that voice is on the radio has the same power level as the boy in white, because that man caused the rain to come when they tried to put the radio tower on top of Colony House. He caused the ground to collapse or the ground to sink in while Tabitha was down there digging, caused the house that Tabitha was in to collapse while Boyd and Sarah were out there traversing in the forest. He caused the weather to go bad. And even the boy in white was telling Sarah, Nathan was right. This place is angry now. And it's like, okay, if we're believing that the ghoulish children poured their hope into the roots that created the faraway tree, and maybe they're synonymous with the forest, then the weather has to be synonymous with who's on the radio. I think it may have been the man in yellow. I thought Christopher was the big bad, but I think that when we see Christopher doing stuff, it's really maybe the man in yellow imitating Christopher, in addition to maybe Abby and Father Katri, because Abby was telling Boyd, if you destroy the music box, it's going to prolong their suffering. And it's like, but they're suffering now. So what exactly are you trying to do? And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out in the future that Martin was captured and he was chained up in the lair, and worms were put inside of him to cleanse his blood. And maybe Martin was drained of his blood, and maybe the man in yellow, when he does communion with his monsters and creatures, they used to drink that blood in order to maybe purify themselves or get stronger or maybe be immortal. I think it's going to be a lot of concepts associated with Christianity, but like in a dark fashion, where instead of drinking from, eating from the body, drinking from the blood and it being a good thing, where it's going to be someone has worms or something inside of them and they're drinking that person's blood for purification. When they are going around and unaliving townspeople, that is like them eating, that's associated with like, the Last Supper and everything. It's a stretch. It's a yoga stretch. It's just that there's so many themes associated with Christianity in the show that combined with the fact that I think that there really is no magic per se. I think it's a lot of science that we don't understand. And I'm kind of just giving you all a fire hose of theories. And when episode 10 concludes, I'll be able to go through and do a review of each episode and kind of further just lay out what I believe, and you all will comment as well.